What's up, YouTube? It's Classic 1333 coming to you live in front of my computer as usual. Nothing exciting about that. Oh, and what was up with that glass of tea? Well, tonight's show is brought to you by my delicious glass of iced tea because it's tea-rific. So I'm here to do the review as usual. They start the show off with a recap of Orton's attack on Vince McMahon when McMahon was like, "Randy Orton, you're..." And then, you know, he gets bitch slapped in the face and then kicked in the head, and he's on the shelf collecting dust right now. And so the show starts off with a legacy promo. Like, it's just Randy Orton. He comes out with Cody Rhodes, Teddy DiBiase, a couple lawyers, and his therapist. And Orton's on the mic and he's saying, like, he has intermittent explosive disorder, and he's like giving a little bit of info about it. And I was like, is this a real legit disease? So I just Googled it, and Wikipedia actually has some info about it, so I guess it's actually legit. So, oh, and for the reference, if you're a college student, Wikipedia is not really a truly reliable source of information, just mostly because it's the whole like crediting sources and stuff. But other than that, if you need to like see something quick about it, or if you were like me, if you had microbiology and you aren't sure of a bacteria, Wikipedia has some info on it. Check it out. But that was my Wikipedia plug. But like, going back to the show, Orton's like, I have intermittent explosive disorder, and he's like threatening to file some lawsuits on Stephanie because apparently he's been wrestling with disorder, and also like that was one of his lawsuits, and then the other one was because it would be not contractually binding. WWE's deal of the agreement with him going to WrestleMania to be in the main event. So then he pulls out a written apology and reads it to Vince McMahon, and he's like, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry, blah 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 or something. And he's like, my favorite thing he said in that written apology was, he's like, being the father of a child myself, I can truly understand the trauma that your family must be going through. It was great promo. Orton's just like an awesome heel. He's like so like, he's psycho but like so like smart too and stuff. It was just awesome. So we'll get more into that later to see what Stephanie's response is. So our first match is the new Eminem, as I'm calling it, Miz and Morrison, because it kind of gets kind of redundant calling him Miz and Morrison all the time. So we got new Eminem versus Crime Time for the World Tag Team Championship. It was an okay little short matchup. I mean, it was definitely longer than their match they had last week on Raw, but the finish saw Morrison hit Shad Gaskar with the Moonlight Drive, 1, 2, 3. Miz and Morrison still your World Tag Team Champions. And then they have an announcement that there's going to be the WWE title and the World Heavyweight Championship are going to be defended at No Way Out in 2 Elimination Chamber matches. And they have some matches tonight for some qualifiers. So we're going to jump into that into a second here. While that's going on, JBL comes out, interrupts King, and he announces that Shawn Michaels is going to compete on his behalf to win his participation in the Elimination Chamber match. He's going to fight Cena tonight. So once again, it's kind of interesting that, you know, JBL can like go to Stephanie and be like, Shawn's going to represent me in my matchup. Oh yeah, here's $1,000. You know, just something like that. It's got to be nice. So let's see, where does that leave us next here? We have our first matchup, an Elimination Chamber qualifier, Kofi Kingston versus Kane. Now, when I saw this matchup, I was like, oh my god, he's fighting Kane. I'm like, Kane's just gonna, you know, crush him, get in the Elimination Chamber, blah blah blah. And they had a surprise-ass victory. Freaking Kofi won. He, let's see, he won with like a surprising sunset flip move, got a 3 count. I was just like, oh my god, he won the matchup? Wow. Yeah. Okay, I was slightly faking my excitement there, but last night I was surprised. I was like, holy shit, you know. So it was pretty cool, actually. And then we have a Jericho promo. Jericho talks about, what's that guy's name? Mickey Rourke. Like, talks about the wrestler, and basically they showed some footage from, I guess, Access Hollywood or something, and Mickey Rourke was like, said he's like, yeah, I'm going to be at WrestleMania or something, and he's like, I've been training with Ric Flair and gotten tips from Piper and blah, blah, blah. Or another one was Alpha, the Wild Samoan. And he's like, I'm going to beat Jericho's ass, blah, blah, blah. And then Jericho was like, Like if like we wrestle at WrestleMania, like it's gonna be a nightmare for you, blah blah blah. It's gonna be the biggest mistake of your life. And basically, that's like completely true on that one because Jericho has like been a wrestler for many years, and this guy's like never really wrestled except in a movie, so in a false reality, as Jericho would say. So I don't really like agree with this kind of a storyline though for WrestleMania. It's like WWE always wants to have some surprising celebrity like wrestle or do something at WrestleMania, and I think it's like kind of wasteful for Jericho to have to do it with them. Like, I mean, I can usually understand like some of the guys like putting over some of these guys or doing something with them. Like last year, Big Show wrestled Floyd Money Mayweather and was actually like a decent match, because they made him no DQ and stuff. But like it was entertaining. But I don't know. I kind of was hoping Jericho would do something else this year, like fight the Undertaker. But oh well. So let's see what's next. Basically, we have a JBL backstage segment with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels says he did everything possible to help JBL win the championship, and JBL's like doesn't believe him. And basically, I don't believe him either because if Shawn Michaels really did everything humanly possible, he would have taken like a steel chair or something, kept cracking Cena on the skull with it, after he sweet chin music'd him, knocked him out, and then. Would have been a 3 count for JBL. JBL could have been the champion, but nope. So Michaels really didn't do everything possible. So yeah, basically that leads us up to our next matchup for an Elimination Chamber qualifier for JBL, John Cena versus Shawn Michaels. And this was a good matchup. I mean, it wasn't quite as good as their matchup from I think it was 2 weeks ago on Raw. Wasn't quite as good as that matchup, but it was still a good match though. One of my favorite things in this matchup was like John Cena was like getting ready to do the whole like "you can't see me" stupid thing, and then Shawn Michaels like grabs him and puts him in a crippler crossface, and that was awesome. The finish saw basically John Cena was in the ring, he was down, and Shawn Michaels was going to go drop his elbow on him, his vintage elbow drop on him, or his prototypical elbow. And JBL's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Just super kick him. Just super kick him." And Shawn's like, "I got to do it my way." So he goes up to the top rope, and then Cena shoves JBL into him, which knocks Michaels off the top rope. And then Cena hits Michaels with an FU, 1, 2, 3, and Cena wins, and JBL won't be a qualifier in the Elimination Chamber. So I kind of thought this was kind of a weird qualifier because you're fighting the world champion to qualify for a matchup. You should just be able to fight somebody else just to qualify, I would think. But that's WWE for you. What can you do? Let's see. They have a brief recap of Orton's apology, and then they have a little backstage thing with Stephanie, and Stephanie says, or Grisham's like, "Are you going to take any action?" And Steph's like, "Oh, I'm going to take action to him in his face, in the ring, blah blah blah." So we'll see where that goes in a little bit. The next matchup they have is Melina and Kelly Squared versus Beth Phoenix and Jillian Hall. Basically, short little matchup. It was kind of most of it was Kelly and Melina dominating it for a little bit. Then Beth and Jillian turn it around, and then the finish sees Rosa Mendez pull Melina off the ring apron, and then this allows Beth Phoenix to hit the Implant Buster, aka the Glam Slam, WWE's phrase for it. And then 1, 2, 3, Beth Phoenix and Jillian Hall win the matchup. So this is going to lead us to part 2 next.